Hey guys, welcome to this new series on my channel. Today we're going to do a new thing, which is a chess.com slow run. And yeah, I've noticed the last few weeks, months, that I don't really enjoy playing the Road to 2200 anymore and the Road to 2000 Blitz. I want to make my channel focus more on educational content and teaching you guys how to play chess, right? That's what I like to do most. So yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do. And I've made a new account, and we're going to play this account all the way from right now we're about 250 elo. We're going to play all the way up until we are 2000. We're going to play multiple games in one episode. So it's all rated. We're playing against a 241 rated opponent, and yeah, we're trying to get to 2000, like I mentioned. Yeah, let's just play a reversed Caracan or whatever. Yeah, I mean, so far so good by my opponent, right? I mean, this is pretty solid chess up until this point. We can play maybe bishop g4. My opponent is playing rather quick, so yeah, that is usually not a very good sign at this elo, because you want to take your time, especially if you have 10 minutes. You need to obviously take your time to see what is possible in a position. And yeah, if it comes down to openings like this, I would recommend just playing anything that doesn't blunder. At this level, I mean, at some point you need to obviously learn openings, but at this point, I mean, the moves that we're both making are completely fine. You know, you just bring out your knights, you just bring out your bishops, you put some pawns in the center of the board. I bring out my knight and bishops, and it's just about development, right? It doesn't really matter that much how much you or what exactly you play at what order, and yeah, I mean, doesn't really matter that much. It seems like my opponent is going to be disconnected, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, we're playing a 400. That usually means it's a brand new account. Yeah, usually, but you know, yeah, like that's another thing at this elo. You're gonna face a lot of people that are playing new accounts, right? They just started out and they just don't know anything. They basically just play like h5 and a5. It's a little bit of a rabbit hole, right? It's I mean it's a wilderness out here, you know. At 400 elo, you don't know what you get. You don't know what you get. You're just gonna get some people who are, you know, playing with their whatever. So, yeah, once again, I mean, as far as I can explain, as much as I can do, I mean, here the goal is just, okay, he develops a piece, very nice. The goal is to just put pawns in the center, right? The three golden rules, I don't know, I mean, if you're watching this channel, you probably know chess a little bit at this point, but let's say, for example, you don't know anything about chess yet. You clicked on this video, you want to know more about chess. In that case, we always teach beginners three golden rules, right? And those golden rules are: one, put your pawns in the center. So try to control the center of the board, obviously being these four squares, but it also comes down to, well, these 16, I would say. So the center of the board is something you want to control early in the game. The reason why is because the main fight, right, the most significant fight is going to happen in the center of the board. And yeah, I mean, that's rule one, to control the center. Rule two is to put out your pieces, right? To activate your pieces, how we call that. So obviously you want to put your knights out, your bishops, and you want to get them all involved in the game as soon as possible. My opponent here, by the way, hung a knight. Hopefully he doesn't resign. I mean, it happens, but you know. But all right, so you want to get your pieces out into the center, right? That's what we say, that we want to put the knights and the bishops and everything out into the center. And the third rule, which is the thing that I'm going to do right now, is a special rule called castling, where you can go two moves to the side with your king and your rook slides over. It's one of the most significantly, one of the most unique, is what I should say, moves in chess, I guess. Because I mean, it's actually the only move where you can, the only legal move where you actually move two pieces at the same time, right? Castling, where you move your rook and your king at the same time. It's the only move in chess where that's allowed, castling. So that's interesting. Yeah, so okay, so this opponent here probably just, I don't know, maybe it's like a small kid, maybe he's someone that has never played chess before, but he's doing everything that you're not supposed to do, like literally everything. This is like literally the only way you're not supposed to play chess is when you only move side pawns. You don't develop any pieces. You don't castle. This is the opposite. This is literally the opposite of what I just told you to do. So, I mean, yeah, what can you say, right? I mean, it happens. I mean, I can probably mate this guy in a few moves. I mean, I can go here, which is a double attack and a mate threat. I mean, that, yeah. I mean, what do you do here, right? I mean, maybe we're just gonna mate him. We're just gonna mate him, and we're gonna end the game because I mean, yeah. Okay, let's see. We have this game in front of us right now, where we play a 414 rated opponent. This opponent has probably learned about the Scholar's Mate. So if you are watching this channel, like I mentioned, and you have no prior experience with chess, there is a thing that's called the Scholar's Mate, which is one of the fastest checkmates in chess. So let's say I play whatever. Let's say I play bishop c4. He's probably gonna play bishop c5, right? That's the whole idea of this opening. Okay, he doesn't do that actually. Well, you never know. You never know. So yeah, I mean the whole idea is that you play bishop c5 and you attack the f2 pawn, and then if I don't defend it with any of, yeah, I have like this move, I can like put my knight here, I can put my knight maybe here in some lines, although that is a little bit dubious. But knight f3, queen e2, I mean anything there should be fine, right? If I don't do that, then he gets the checkmate on f2, and I could do the same with checkmating, trying to checkmate him. Let's offer a queen trade. Let's see what he does. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. I mean, yeah, this is obviously 400 elo chess. So I think if like this series will continue, and the more it will continue, the more clear it will get that at higher ratings it will probably be a little bit more sophisticated chess. Let's say. Let's go here. Only thing I have to be real careful about is maybe bishop g4. That's exactly what he's gonna try, I think. I don't know if, I mean, I don't think it's that dangerous, to be honest. Probably fine if I just go like queen g3. So here, there, here. Okay, so I'm gonna take with the bishop because then I can take this back with the knight. I mean, obviously, like the chess gets more and more advanced, right? I mean, there's a lot of things you need to know and see, and there's at some point it's gonna be pattern recognition, and you're gonna get better and better at it. The reason why I didn't take with the knight here is because after bishop g4 and I go here, if he takes the bishop, I'm forced to take back. That's actually not true because I have a bishop covering e2 as well. I mean, I saw some ghosts. I do that every now and then. But like the point was, if the bishop wouldn't be on this diagonal, I'd have to take back with the king. And very instructive is that you generally in the beginning of the game you don't want to take back with the king because you need to castle. You want to castle, right? We just talked about it. Castling is one of the first 3 things you want to do early in the game. The reason is because you want to bring your king to safety. Your king is the thing you have to protect, of course. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to b3. He can actually take, and take now. Let's see if my opponent sees that. He can win a pawn. He could not, like, let's say he plays bishop x e2. I take with the king, then he cannot take this pawn anymore because my knight is still protecting. But I'm gonna take back for, okay, so he doesn't actually play it, but yeah. Now, my opponent failed to see that I can take his pawn, which is on e5, which is a free pawn. I think I could have already taken that just now, but, you know. So we're gonna take that pawn, which is free, and now we are attacking him, and we're in the center of the board, right? Our queen is activated, and yeah, like I mentioned, I mean the most of what chess is pattern recognition. It is getting better at recognizing threats, right? And at some point in your chess journey, you will start getting better and better at seeing things clearly, right? Seeing that there's things hanging and there's things being attacked. Another very strong thing I have here, which is the bishop. This bishop is covering all of these squares. And that means that he cannot castle, at least not kingside. There's a few rules when you can or cannot castle. I won't get into them all right now because it's quite complex, but obviously it's very good to know that at some point you need to know that you can, like, in some cases you cannot castle. Sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's permanent. So for example, now it's temporary. If somehow he could get this bishop off the board, he would be able to castle afterwards, because that would mean the square g8 is no longer being attacked. So he can, in that situation, castle. If, for example, one of the rooks moves or the king moves, he cannot castle anymore permanently. So that is that's that. Let's take on f5 at the pawn. Let's see what he does. There's knight takes and then takes. I guess that's somewhat equal, right? I mean, he can now take with the knight, he can take with the bishop, he can probably generate some threats, but this is probably not the best move. Okay, he takes back with the knight. My opponent here is starting to get a little bit better at this game, right? I mean, you can definitely notice that he is he's not a complete beginner anymore. And once again, like, one of the most difficult things about chess is figuring out what to do in the middle game, right? That's one of the most difficult things. Like, for a whole lot of people, if you play chess, you get into some position like this, and you just don't know what to do. You just have no idea. You're just lost. And that's understandable, because it's there's like a bazillion different things you can do in chess, which makes it very complex often. And yeah. I would always, like, in a position like this, if you're in like a random position, which is just this position, right? This is just some middle game position with a lot of things going on. I would always, like, there's a few different things you can do to get some kind of grip on the position, some kind of idea in your head. Okay, this is good or this isn't good. You always start with looking at checks. Where can I check the opponent somehow? Like, can I generate a forcing threat, right? Giving a check is a forcing move. You force the opponent to respond. So in this particular situation, I can give a check on on f7 with my bishop. So bishop f7 would be a check, but he could just take, or with the king, so that would be a bad check. I can take the e7 bishop with my queen, but that is also just defended, so that's also just a bad check. Is there any other check in this position? I don't think so. So I think in this position, okay, maybe there's like queen b8, so that's also someone, but then he just takes, or takes with the knight. So basically those two moves are just bad, right? I mean, they just don't work. So what do you do after that? You look first at checks, then you look at captures. Can I capture anything? Is there any piece that I can capture right now? I can capture this knight, I can capture this bishop, I can capture this. No, that's not true. No, not really anything useful. I mean, we just discussed this one, that he just takes back. If I take here, he takes with the bishop or the queen. I lose my queen for a knight, which is obviously a bad trade. So that's basically not good. And in the extent of knowing when to capture or not, right? Obviously, you need to first know what every piece is worth before you know if you could capture or not, right? Because if you don't know that a queen is more valuable than a knight, you might think, okay, I can trade my queen for a knight. I'm just gonna make a move here real quick. I'm just gonna go like bishop c7. It's not the best move, but I don't want my opponent to think that I'm like that I abandoned the game somehow. But okay, yeah, so we look at checks, then we look at captures, and we need to know, obviously, if a certain move is a good or a bad capture. We know that by giving every piece a value, and we give the queen a value of 9, basically, which is just, and the 9 stands for the amount of pawns. I think the official way this is determined is by giving every piece 70 pawns or something. It's like the official term. So like a queen is worth 9 pawns. That's basically roughly how you should see it. Then we have the rooks, which are worth 5 points. Then we have the minor pieces, which is the knight and the bishop. Those are worth 3 points. And we have all the pawns, which are worth 1 for every pawn. Yeah, that's basically it. So if you know the value of every piece, you know if you should trade or not. And if you know if you should trade or not, you can determine the next thing you need to do in a position. And at last, so it's checks, captures, and threats is what we usually say. And threats are usually things like this. But this is a good example of a threat. Right now, my opponent is threatening to checkmate me. Right, he's double attacking the g2 pawn with his queen and his bishop. So he's threatening to play queen xg2. And it really goes both ways. What I would advise is to look at your own checks, captures, and attacks, or checks, captures, and threats. Attacks, threats is a bit the same, of course. I would look at your own captures, checks, captures, and threats first. Then I would look at the opponent's plans, of course, and his checks, captures, and threats. In this particular situation, he is threatening checkmate, so I need to stop that. I can play knight g3, which is a good move. I could also play g3, but that loses my rook, and we just determined a bishop is 3 points, a rook is 5 points. So all I'm gonna play here is knight g3, and now he cannot take on g2 anymore, and there's no more checkmate. My knight is covering, or his knight is covering g3, but if he takes, I can simply take, and then we trade some pieces, and I should be completely fine. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, in chess it's all about those things, right? It's all about getting better at recognizing the threats you can create, the threats your opponent can create. It's just patterns. It's all patterns. It's all, oh, this, I've seen this before somewhere. That's why I would recommend to play puzzles, right? Puzzles are very important. Because you need to just get better at seeing patterns. My opponent here is playing pretty well. I need to be careful that I don't actually lose this game, because this bishop move is actually a quite a high level move. I'm gonna play rook e1, checking the king, forcing him to probably lose his castle rights. I mean, he could go here, but that's probably very bad. He could also just block again with the bishop. Yeah. So yeah, my opponent is not playing bad at all. You can definitely notice that this guy has some chess experience. He knows like the basics. Yeah. The most important thing in chess, I would say, is to get better at recognizing forcing threats, right? That's a very important thing. You need to get better and better at seeing forcing lines, seeing things you can force your opponent to respond to. Here I think I will just capture this pawn. I don't really see anything else that I can do. I have 1 minute and 32 seconds. He can take here, but I just take back with the pawn. I should be fine there. I need to be a little bit careful because I'm playing with a little bit low amount of time, right? He's playing well. He's playing pretty well. So I can probably... I need to probably be a little bit scary as this move, which I probably need to take another pawn or something. Okay, he plays this move, which is a blunder. And the reason this is a blunder is because it looks like this knight on e7 is defending the c6 pawn, but it's actually not, because he's pinned. So I can just take this pawn. And now that I take this pawn, his king is forced to move, or he should go back, but I lose the rook. So he's forced to move the king somewhere, and he really only has these two squares. And now his king is stuck in the center, my rook is active, my queen is active, I can take this bishop. Starting to look very good for me. And yeah, one of the most difficult things at this level of chess, and at any level to be honest, is not having the position crumble into pieces like this, because it's very, very difficult to keep the composure, right? And now he just yeah, see, the beginners have the tendency to make these types of moves. They play bishop c6 again and forget that they're pinned again, right? That the reason I could just take this pawn is still the reason why I could take the bishop. It's the same exact reason. He's still pinned. The knight cannot move. So now he is forced to move here, and if you go here, I can take the rook, and now you're gonna get mated probably somehow. There's still some things he can do. He can play bishop b8, knight b8, but it's starting to look really difficult here. I need to keep my bishop covering these squares. So yeah, what do we do? Good question. Okay, let's play knight d5. Let's put extra pressure on the e7 knight here. Need to be careful that I don't get mated somehow, of course. But yeah, yeah, chess is a very difficult game, of course. You need, obviously, if you want to really get good at chess, you need to also have some sort of, at least some sort of talent, intuition. I call it how you want. I mean, you need some sort of feeling for it, right? You cannot just get good at anything if you're not actually already at least somewhat good at it. Let's go and take this. I could have, no, I couldn't have taken because the bishop was protecting. I'm threatening checkmate now. Okay, he's protecting there. Anything I can do, I can take here. Probably looks pretty good. I could have also given a check maybe and some discovered attack. I'm actually busy making a chess app, which is for learning how to play chess. So hopefully in the near future that will be officially launched, and you can like maybe use the app to get some basic information. Like it's like it has like a curriculum, right? It has like a chess lessons curriculum, so you can get better at the game. But it also features a lot of you have like a search where you can like find any like meaningful information about anything, right? The tactics, strategy, end games. There's like a whole section about all sorts of information you need to know and how to get better at chess. Let's try to see if I can mate this guy. Let's see, let's go here, attack the rook. I have 16 seconds. This is mate, by the way, if he's not careful, almost mate. If he keeps the queen governing the d8 square, it's not immediately mate, but you know. You don't really have a lot of moves. You can even like actually go anywhere. You can go like here, but then this is checkmate in a few moves, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I think this is checkmate, right? So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So the app will be there, and it has like a search inside of it, which contains all names for all types of tactics, like literally all of them. It contains openings, opening traps. It contains like I mentioned, strategy, endgames, concept in the endgame, like the square, opposition, all sorts of things. You can just look at it. It has like a section explaining what it is. It has like examples. It has a lesson that immediately covers that exact concept. So yeah, I mean, looks pretty useful. I think at some point in this series, I will probably also like integrate that app inside of this series. So yeah, we can analyze this game because this was an interesting game. And this is also going to be the last. Game played in this particular episode. Next episode we'll take another look at some lessons. And yeah, so okay, my opponent played Queen F6 immediately. Let's just. I'm gonna go through this game, go through this analysis. Gonna say everything that I think after every move. That's basically it. Aside from like the most basic moves like e4, e5, that's just, I mean, that's not really interesting. Queen f6, so the reason why Queen f6 is not a very good move is because one of the things that we teach beginners is obviously the 3 golden rules that I mentioned in this lesson. You want to bring out your pieces, develop, or actually put pawns in the center, develop your pieces and castle. So those 3 rules are very important. And another thing, which is like a negative rule, right, is don't bring out your queen too early. It's very, very important because immediately you can see the eval bar go from 0.1 to like 1.1 if you play a move like Queen f6. And the reason why this is so bad is because your queen is a target in the beginning of a chess game. You can immediately start attacking. I could have immediately played this move and started attacking. And now he has a threat on c7 as well. This is not the best move, but just to demonstrate that there are things you can do. And if he's careless, if he goes here, I immediately win the rook. Right, that this is a very this tactic with a fork being an attack between 2 pieces, is a very common pattern that you need to start recognizing if you play a lot more chess and if you want to get good at chess. So yeah, I mean, that's why we don't put queens in the center too early, because they are prone to be attacked, right? There's a concept in chess that's called tempo, which is a bit more of an advanced concept. It's not for around 400 elo, but the concept of tempo is basically if you are playing white, the chess is a turn-based game, right? You probably all know some turn-based games, like I don't know, there's like I don't know, name some turn-based game, but their turn-based games mean obviously that one player is obviously always the one that starts. The one player is always the one that throws the punches, right? I'm the one who's going to put threats to my opponent. Chess is all about making threats. You make threats, your opponent has to respond, has to find a way to deal with those threats. You keep making threats, and the white player, the one that starts, is the one that has the advantage in the start, has the tempo, because he's the one who can make threats, right? He's the one that always is one move ahead of the black side. So putting out your queen early allows me to tempo your queen. It allows me to attack your queen after and after, and every time I just get a better position because of my pieces get developed. You have to respond to my threats, and you are lacking in development and progress. So, okay, bishop c4, fine. Knight h6 is also not a very good move. It's also... the reason why knight h6 is not a very good move is because your knights are supposed to always go towards the center. And one of the things that knights and most pieces, except from like rooks, I believe, one of the things that knights have is that on the side of the board, anywhere on the like 8th row or the h file or like any of these squares, right? The knights control less squares. It controls 4 squares from here, right? And if it is in the center like this, my knight, it controls 8 squares. So let's see, my knight controls all of these squares. So yeah, putting your knights on the rim is dim, so don't do that because it's not very good. Queen f3, obviously not the best move. The reason why queen f3 is not the best move is because I offer my opponents the chance to get rid of his too early developed queen, right? If he took here and he played something like this, now look at this position all of a sudden. Okay, that hangs a pawn, but let's say he played knight here. Look at this position, and all of a sudden my opponent is not so bad anymore. My opponent is not doing terribly anymore. Now if I castle and he develops his bishop, now maybe slowly but surely he's getting castled and he's developing his pieces, and his position becomes a little bit more solid, right? It becomes difficult for me to get an advantage in that position. So that's why queen f3 is not the best move, because it allows my opponents to get a little bit back into the game. And as a beginner, he played queen g6 because he probably thought, oh, I don't want to lose my queen. My queen is my strongest piece. So that's why he moved it. But yeah, if you're a beginner, it's not always good to keep your queen on the board, right? Sometimes you need to just trade it. In this situation, you needed to trade it. And as soon as you play more and more chess, you will get better and better at recognizing when or when not to trade certain things, right? It becomes more and more of a pattern that you start to recognize. So yeah, queen g6, knight g to e2, d5 is an inaccuracy too. Obviously, my opponent wanted to really play bishop g4, but bishop g4 is just not that good of a move because it doesn't really do anything. I still have safe squares. My queen is fine there. I protect my knight. Doesn't really do anything. So what does d5 do? It gives away a pawn, right? I mean, that's all it does. It gives away a pawn. Apparently knight takes was probably better. Yeah, it threatens this. So what I was talking about in the game, which I kind of misevaluated, but okay, if he goes here, I thought that after this trade I had to take back with the king, but obviously my bishop is also still covering the e2 square, and also I have queen e5, and like his whole position is like crumbling, because if after this he has to go like here, and then he has to lose his queen, and you know. So, and the reason why he has to go here is because this is checkmate on 1, and if he goes anywhere here, it's probably also leading to some sort of mate. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically it comes down to pattern recognition. I think my opponent played decently well here, but he just hasn't played enough chess to see all of the nitty gritty and all of the like sidelines, like the e5 pawn hanging, playing bishop g4 a little bit too eager, while you just gave away a pawn. Like things like that is just. He's just a little bit too early in his chess journey career. I mean, could have taken here. first, and then move the bishop back, which should have been fine as well. So, yeah. So those are the main things in the opening, right? Those are the most important things in the opening. After that, the game kind of took quite a steep direction into my favor, of course. F5 is a mistake, of course, because he still hangs the e5 pawn. He just missed that e5 can be taken, which is just a free pawn. And here I kind of misplayed it still. And the reason why is I wanted to obviously make this a real game and not just completely overblow my opponents and don't teach you anything. So that's why I played castles. Of course, here the move like this is very strong. And yeah, now I'm attacking this, and if he moves it anywhere, which he almost can't, maybe he can go like here. Something like this would be possible, but yeah. So obviously I wanted to prolong the game, so that's why I castled, and he played knight d7, which is the best move, which is nice, gains the tempo. Now I took here, which is not the best move, but it is good. Because after this, I can just take here. Something like this could have been the position, which is just fine, kind of equal. A little bit better for white because I'm up 2 pawns. I'm up 2 pawns. So yeah. Yeah, and my opponent, like I mentioned, my opponent played decently well, man. I really didn't play that bad for a 400, not gonna lie. After knight g3, he found bishop d6, which is not the best move, but the idea is definitely sound. I mean, there's a piece attacking, he's defending it twice, I cannot take this, there's no immediate attack anymore. I didn't dislike bishop d6 at all. Obviously, there's rook e1 check, and it gets like very complex, but I mean, not a bad move. The idea is oops, okay, this is new probably. Okay, thanks. I unlocked the skill. Okay. Don't know. Never seen this in my life before, but sure. Okay, I unlocked the skill. Yeah, so rook e1 was obviously a very annoying move. He had to like move his knight back, and now all of a sudden his position is a little bit collapsing because there's no more pressure. The pressure is a little bit relieved. But overall, not a bad game at all. Knight b6 is also once again it's not the best move clearly, but it's also not very bad. It really isn't. I mean, yeah. The idea is sound, right? You defend the rook, even though he hangs the c6 pawn because of the pin. It's not terrible, right? He definitely sees some things. As a pretty strong chess player, I can see that my opponent here was definitely seeing some things, right? He definitely missed things still as well, right? The pin here was what he missed, but at the same time, yeah, he didn't play super bad. So yeah, queen e4, offering a trade of queens, and then he went bishop c6, which is definitely a mistake. Like I mentioned in the game, he forgot that the knight is still pinned, which is something that opponents tend to do. He could have long castled here, which is crazy. That's the best move. No more pawns, but still kind of safe because of the knight and all of the bishops, right? But yeah, so he decided to play this, which is a free piece because of the pin, like I mentioned, and after that the position kind of collapsed quite quickly, and yeah, some checks. Apparently I have a quicker mate here. I didn't really see it, to be honest. What is the quicker mate here? I'm not quite sure, actually. Maybe something like this. What is the best move here? Bishop e6. Okay. And if he takes, there's like this move, which is just checkmate because of the knight. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, after this, we shuffled some pieces, and bishop e6 eventually became the checkmate because the rook covers all of these squares and the bishop delivers the check, and yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Quite a lot of things covered already. If you are an absolute beginner to the game of chess, it's obviously a lot to take in at once. I mean, obviously I cannot expect you guys to immediately like understand everything what I said, but you know, it is everything that is relevant, I think, in the beginning phases of the game, where you need to develop your pieces, put pawns in the center, castle, see threats, checks, captures. All those things are very important. So yeah, hopefully you learned something, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.